Hello and welcome to Graphic Vandalism 731. I'm Johnny Alpha, and this is another edition of Why You Should Be Reading Image Comics. Today, I'm going to be covering Wayward, and this is a book that I just always get so excited every time a new issue comes out. I just really love this book. It's got a great energy. It's a lot of fun. It's written by Jim Zub, and it's got art by Steve Cummings. And to be honest, I was not familiar with either of these artists before this book. I'd seen Skull Kickers, and I've read a couple issues, but after reading this, I became pretty much a quick fan of Jim Zub's, and I'm definitely going to be checking out his other work in the future. And Steve Cummings' art in this book is just very lush, very vivid. It's just beautiful to look at. Your average panel in this book looks better than most books' covers. So this is really just a great book. It's got an amazing story, but it's also just great to look at. There are two trade paperbacks for this book out right now. The first one is called String Theory, and the second one is called The Tie That Binds. The first one you can get for $9.99. I really suggest picking it up, and it's just going to be a kick in the ass. And the second one, I think it's a little more, but it's definitely worth getting. What Zub and Cummings were able to accomplish with this book is nothing short of extraordinary and miraculous. And what that is they actually were able to capture real energy and real Japanese culture and myths in this book and bring it to an American audience in an American comic book. I've only seen this done once before, and that is with Stan Saki's masterwork, that is Usagi Yojimbo. And this book really is very anime-esque. It reminds me of a few animes that I really like X, Tokyo Majin, and Noragami. And this is really something spectacular to see come from an American studio and American audiences, because usually they get the characters right every now and then, but usually they just drop the ball and it just comes out with some kind of whitewashed garbage. But not here. This was legit. Sometimes when I'm reading this book, I'm surprised it's not right to left, because it really feels like I'm reading a manga most of the time. The story for this book takes place in modern-day Japan in the Ikebukuro district of Tokyo, and this is where the battleground is set for this battle between ancient yokai and kami versus this superpowered team of supernaturally powered teens, and it's basically just the ancient battle of old versus new, young blood forcing the old guard out. But it's really interesting the way it's done in this book. This series has a very awesome cast of main protagonists in this team of teens, but the main character is Rory Lane, who is this half-Irish, half-Japanese girl who's coming to live with her mother in Japan after having to leave her father in Ireland. Almost as soon as she lands in Japan, Rory really starts seeing weird things, and weird things start happening to her. She starts seeing strange characters and these weird glowing pasts that are trying to show her something that she'd never really seen before until she actually landed in Japan. And after Roy meets up with her mother, she kind of goes sightseeing to check out Japan, and she's goes shopping, and then she gets attacked by these kappas, which are these kind of strange turtle-like yokai that are water goblins, and they come after her, and she gets rescued by this really strange, weird colored haired girl who is Ayane. And Ayane is basically she's a spiritual being that's called a cat daughter, and that basically means that she's like a cat spirit, and she can transform into cats, and she can talk to other cats, and she's just this really kind of odd, scrappy little character that really has the attitude of your average alley cat. And she's all cute and cuddly and kind of sweet and stuff on the outside, but she's always ready for a fight and just looking for an excuse to claw your eyeballs out. Ayane is really fast to take up with Rory, and they kind of become fast friends, and this is when Rory kind of really realizes that she's not in Kansas anymore, or Ireland for that matter, but still she really sees that something different is going on here, and there is something strange happening in Ikebukuro. On Rory's first day at school, the strange glowing past that she sees lead her to meet this strange boy named Shariah, who's kind of this cursed kid who basically has to eat spirits to stay alive, but he also gets super strength and super abilities from him. And when she first sees this, they kind of have this misunderstanding, and they kind of have this crazy superhero fight. But basically, she just realizes that he's like her, and he's another person that doesn't understand exactly what happened to him and why he has to do the things that he does. So they kind of become friends too, and he kind of joins the team. And after their misunderstanding and fight, Rory and Shariah find themselves at this tenement building where they run into this strange skeleton ghost attacking this young boy. And then they have this really sweet, awesome battle with this ghost skeleton thing, and Ayane pops out of nowhere, and her and Shariah just beat the hell out of this thing, and they rescue the young boy, who is this young homeless orphan named Mikado, who basically has this strange power where he can feel emotions and then he can channel them, and he can use them as an attack, or he could bounce them back and use them against the person that's throwing them at him. But like if things get too stressed, sometimes it can have this really kind of adverse, explosive reaction with him. So like certain emotions he can't really work with as well as others, but others he's really good. And he's actually like all like the rest of the team. He's really learning how to use his powers. That's the thing about this, is all these kids, they just kind of just started learning that they had these things and like learning how to channel them. Our four heroes basically come to the realization that the yokai and the kami are getting more and more brazen, and more than that, that they are actually like focusing and hunting these kids like as if they know that they have powers. So they decide to try to take the battle to them, which is kind of a really bad idea, especially because like I said, they're just learning how to use their powers, and their first foray into full-on battle doesn't fare too well, and like there's some really kind of bad fallout that happens at the end of the first story arc, but it's really kind of cool character building that Zub does with that. First thing in the second story arc, we get introduced to a new character, and she's kind of a big character too. Her name's Imi Ohara, and she's basically like this wallflower of a girl. She's just kind of really cute, sweet little schoolgirl that never really does anything out of the ordinary, but one day she accidentally discovers that she has the strange ability to like absorb and take on the physical attributes of other mass and matter. Like if she grabs like a steel bar, her arm will become steel, and like she can like use it to block stuff, and like she can use it like have a big steel fist to punch the villain with. And basically she kind of always has this weird pull towards Rory, which is kind of odd because the two have only met once accidentally in passing at school, but she soon finds that she too is being stalked and hunted by the yokai, and on her way home from school she gets attacked and miraculously saved by Mikado and Ayane. And this is when the adventure really just gets kicked into high gear. I mean, we just learn all kinds of crazy stuff about Rory Lane and her family, and like the weird mystical strings of fate and destiny that make up her life. And basically we learn that the yokai and the kami basically have ulterior motives than one another, and they kind of play each other, and like they basically, some of them are using these kids to as a coup on other ones. And Jim Zub, he really does this great job of like actually using real yokai and kami that are from like Japanese myths, like the 100-Eye and the Kappa and the Tengu and the Earth Spiders and the Spider Whore. I mean, like, there's several things that I've seen in other stories that are recounted here, and it's just so much fun to actually see an American writer use and utilize these great things that are at his disposal. You just really get a sense that Jim Zub and Steve Cummings really have a love and respect for Japanese culture. Like I said, Steve Cummings' art's very vivid and detailed, and his action's so clear and very well defined, and like the monsters are just really cool, and he does just an amazing job of capturing the attitude and the feeling that Jim Zub's written for these characters in this story. This book is perfect for any and all fans of manga or anime, or even if you just like the Japanese films of people like Takashi Miike or Ryui Kitamura or Katsuhito Ishii. I mean, like this book will just speak to you, and it'll be so much fun for you to just watch and enjoy, like to see an American artist and writer actually capture Japanese culture very well. I really hope I inspired and interested some of you into reading this comic book with this video. It has such an incredible energy, and it's just so much fun to read. This is Johnny Alpha from Graphic Vandalism 731 saying goodbye and have fun, everyone.